have been trying to keep the top of these small containers with moisture for the last 2 weeks. It has been kind of hard a little bit trying to grow the seeds outside. I have a whole setup indoors where it's nice and warm. I have the perfect lighting, the perfect conditions, but although it's the end of May here in central Indiana, like right now, it's like 60 degrees outside. It's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie, it has been definitely a challenge for a lot of my warm loving things to really start pushing new growth, to really start developing and getting established, because we have been getting a lot of cool temperatures for the lows. I'm talking like 40s, 50s. I'm still wearing sleeves at the end of May. So starting seeds outside the low of the heat is a bit of a challenge when you have, you know, really cold temperatures overnight. And I really wanted to do this outside because I am just done. I am just done being inside. I already cleaned up most of my area indoors for where I grow things. So this is not too much growth for being 2 weeks in good soil with great quality seeds in great containers, but the weather has not really been helping. I have 2 types of seeds here growing. I have some varieties of celosia and I have a couple varieties of marigolds. Now these are things that are going to be mostly planted at the community garden. I am not going to be having any of these here because, well, I don't have any more space, but I have almost a whole row at the community garden where I'm renting a couple of rows, and I have plenty of space over there. I am really excited about the marigolds. Like, celosia is going to be amazing, but the marigolds here are the really big orange type that I am hoping to do something with the fall with this. I should have plenty of plants here to do the small little project that I want to do. The 2 varieties that I have here are Cocoa Gold and Deep Orange. And I'm hoping that I can show you how amazing these plants are going to be. You can see the growth of the marigolds. They're not that huge, but at least I have some germination there. This guy over here, I don't see anything. So what I'm going to do is that I am going to divide this one. I'm going to, when they're a little bit older here in like next week, I'm going to move this one of these guys over here so that I have plenty of plants that are growing. And this is 2 weeks of growth for marigolds. And if I had 2 weeks of growth indoors, these things would have already been huge. These right here are the celosia. I don't know if you can really tell. Celosia is so tiny. I have a couple here, one there, one over here. It has definitely been a struggle with the cold temperatures, but we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. And I already have celosia growing in my garden here in my backyard, so I am not too worried about getting blooms from these guys like super quick. I am going to be definitely planting them here maybe in a couple of weeks. I don't care how big they are. I mean, they don't need to be super huge, but I am going to let these guys grow here for a couple more weeks, both celosias and marigolds, and then they'll be going to the community garden. By the way, this is the Bathsheba rose from David Austin that I transplanted here. This is the one that it was in front of my garage, and it's looking great. It took the transplanting really well, and I have a bunch of blooms. I have been keeping an eye on this plant because since I do have somewhat of an aphid problem, I will show you that on the next video. I have been checking it and it seems to be doing all right. So I am not worried at all about this plant. And over there on the other side, on the opposite side of the arbor, I do have another Bathsheba that I purchased as a potted plant at one of my local nurseries. And I do have to help it a little bit. But look at that. Look at that beautiful thing. And by helping it, I mean I have to kind of get the branches closer to the arbor so they can just kind of start not crawling, but going around the arbor and Oh my gosh, I am so excited for future years for both of these roses to cover this arbor, completely. If you are wondering about the containers that I'm using here, all of these colorful containers for starting my seeds right now, these are containers from Bootstrap Farmer, and they are the ones sponsoring this video. And as I say that, it just feels right. I have been using their containers for the past 6 years. I started slowly growing my collection. This is my 6th year growing from seed, and every year I add a little bit of this, a little bit of that, just getting everything that I need, knowing that I only have to buy them once. If you have never experienced the quality, the hardiness of the containers from Bootstrap Farmer, you definitely need to get yourself a few and experience that for yourself. I know a lot of people think seed starting is just a spring thing, but there is always something. There is always a couple of seeds, either vegetables or flowers, that you can start here and there to just keep your garden season going. As I mentioned, I have used them for quite a few years, and these containers just hold up. Like I don't baby them. I don't treat them like they're gold. I toss them around, I leave them outside for longer than I should, and they're still going strong. But they're also super helpful when I am trying to propagate things. Like I have my setup ready. All I need is a good potting mix, the plants that I need to propagate, and I am not even worried about these things staying outside. This is actually my first year trying to propagate cosmos. I am not sure how it's going. It has only been about a week or so. I don't see any roots. I don't see any visible roots quite yet. And I mean, I think they're doing okay. And the way that I propagated them, I'm trying here to propagate them, is I pretty much pinch the top of my cosmos because they were huge. And these cosmos, the mother plants, are already planted at the community garden. So the tops that I took took the bottom leaves, and I put some potting mix in there, and that's where I stick them. And I have to be honest, the first couple of days, these guys were like all flat. These guys were all floppy to the side. Like I thought they were dead. I thought, okay, this is not gonna work. But by the 3rd, 4th day, they started, looking like they were gonna make it. They started looking alive. I don't see any roots quite yet, but that's not a bad thing. I mean, it has only been a week. Like, see how this guy is a little floppy. I mean, it was works. Right now this thing looks like $1 million. The way that it looked a few days ago, I thought they were not gonna make it. Not yet, not quite yet. I still have quite a few things that I'm working here as far as containers. I have seeds that are starting. I have things that I'm propagating. I still have a bunch of seeds. I still have a bunch of seedlings back there that I have to plant. I mean, it's a process, right? Pretty much May for me is a month where it's go. If it's a good day like today, I just take advantage of it. I try to plant a few things, propagate a few things. There's always something going on in the garden. But let me show you the raised bed, the metal raised bed that I put together about a month ago or so. Let me show you the plants that I have growing there and how they're doing. If you remember, about a month ago or so, I posted a video where I show you how easy it was to place or to set up this raised bed. This metal bed is also from Bootstrap Farmer. I fell in love first with the color, and after I looked into it, I realized it was one of those things that I can definitely use it in a little corner of my garden. I knew exactly where I wanted it. I wasn't sure about the size, but I think that it looks amazing there. And with the plants growing, I think that it's just going to be really a great addition for future years here in my garden. The way that I have it set up right now is that I put 2 T-posts, very tall T-posts, and they are holding one of those panels that my husband made a few years ago for my tomatoes. I don't know if you remember those panels. I have quite a few of those, and I did not get rid of them. I will not get rid of them because I knew that I could definitely use them somewhere in the garden, and those T-posts are holding one of those panels. Now the panels are heavy. By themselves they're heavy, but those T-posts are the 7 feet long, and I buried those things as much as I could, making sure that they were nice and strong, and I just love how they look. This is the view from the opposite side, and my goodness, I hope that those vines cover that panel or crawl up that panel nicely, and I think it's just going to look really, really nice. The alliums that are growing right next to the bed are looking so amazing. These are the gladiator alliums. They're huge, you guys. They are really, really big, and I am really loving how they're looking right now. I mentioned when I put this raised bed together that the raised bed was going to be right at the edge of one of the sets of those alliums. I actually have 4 blooms coming out of that one plant right there. And I didn't want to transplant it because I was afraid that I was going to ruin the blooms for this year. I knew that transplanting those alliums this late in the season, about a month ago, was not going to hurt the plants, but it was definitely going to hurt the blooms for this year. So I didn't want to risk that. Right now, I am debating whether to just leave the alliums where they are right now, at least the one that is right by the raised bed. But my worry is that once those alliums start multiplying, which they already are, I'm worried that they're going to come through the raised bed on the other side of that meadow. So I am not really sure what to do here. Let me know your thoughts. The ones around it, the ones that are kind of closer to the side of the flower bed, I am not even worried about them. But I was thinking about moving this one plant next to it, kind of maybe close to that container back there a little bit. Instead of being in the middle of the raised bed, it could be on this side. I don't know. I'm not really sure quite yet what I'm going to do here. And the plants that I have growing here in the raised bed are only 3 different types. I have nasturtiums, and the nasturtiums are the purple emperor from Baker Creeks. I think that's where I got the seeds. And these variety are new to me. I am definitely not new to nasturtiums, but this variety is new to me. I'm very, very excited. I also have a bunch of verbena bonariensis here. I kind of have it there in the middle. And on the back, I have hyacinth beans, which is the ruby moon. I believe that's what it is. They are probably the ones that are not doing too hot. I mentioned before that this bed is not quite full sun, but it's also not quite full shade. So plants on one side or the other of the spectrum really kind of struggle here a little bit. But so far, the nasturtiums they're getting really tall, and I think they're just reaching for the light, which, I mean, they're in a pocket here in between homes, so it will make sense that, that's what they're trying to do. But so far, things are looking great. I am really excited to see how this bed develops here, even in a month. Hopefully, I can give you an update here in a month, and I can show you how the plants are doing. But all of the plants that I have here, I started them from seed, and I mean, everything is doing great. Everything is doing great. Most of the potting mix that I used for filling up that raised bed were from containers from last year, and just about, I don't know, maybe a couple of inches of the top is fresh potting mix, which, it's always a good thing. But my goodness, everything is looking amazing here. Everything is looking really, really nice. So that's pretty much where I'm going to end this video. I just wanted to give you an update on the seeds that I am starting from seed, a couple of things that I'm propagating, but mainly I wanted to give you an update on that raised bed. After I posted that video of setting up that raised bed, I had quite a few questions of people asking me, what are you growing in there? I want to have some ideas. A couple of you actually got the raised bed and you're wondering what to put in it. So hopefully this video helps you in kind of giving you an idea of the things that I'm growing there. I am really, really hoping to do some sort of update every month at least to show you how the plants are doing. And like I said, this spot is a little bit of a of a struggle spot for me because it's not completely full sun or shade. So fingers crossed that they do okay. If you have any questions about anything that I show you here today, let me know in the comments, and I will see you on the next time.